Meanwhile, House Republicans today creating two new major committees to help protect freedom in America. Finally, the first, let's investigate the Chinese Communist Party and its efforts to undermine the U.S. That passed with bipartisan support. The second committee, all Democrats refused to support this one, the Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. What do you guys think? It's not happening? Are you new? We're told this new panel will investigate the government's attempts to collect information on U.S. citizens and to violate our civil liberties. So what will this new panel look like? And will we be a freer people for it? Joining me now to discuss, Kentucky Republican Congressman on the House Judiciary Committee's Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government, Thomas Massie is back. Let us get sassy with Massie. Welcome back. I'm glad you're no longer a congressman-elect.
Thank you, Kennedy. I'm glad to be back on the job, too. This committee is pretty exciting to me. And during the negotiations with Kevin McCarthy, when his speakership was being negotiated, shall we say, we got even better concessions for this committee. We've got broader jurisdiction with deeper authorities.
It's a big gavel. Let's go back to Kevin McCarthy for a second before we get to the committee. I was surprised that you were not one of the 20 holdouts, because the Thomas Massie, I know, is a limited government rebel who occasionally loves to be the bee in the bonnet of the establishment. So why did you go along with the establishment for so many votes?
Well, you know, there were some never Kevins. I called myself a barely Kevin, and I was unflinching. Through 15 rounds, I was barely Kevin. But in all seriousness, you know, Kennedy, you and I have been talking long enough. You saw me be a part of all three John Boehner coups. And when we finally took out John Boehner and kept Kevin McCarthy from winning, he didn't take that fight to the floor. We got Paul Ryan, and we got rules in the House that were worse than under John Boehner. So this time I was watching and actually part of the negotiations to make sure that we got better rules that change this institution, because you can change the speaker, but if you don't change the way this place works, it's not going to get better. So my hat's off to the 20 and a half who held out to get better concessions for how this place works, including this committee itself.
All right, so let's talk about this committee. What troubles you most? What will you be looking at? The FBI's insistence that Twitter silence people and oppress free speech? Or will it be the FBI sicking agents on parents who have the nerve to talk back at school board meetings where they were deemed terrorists?
Well, it all troubles me. Those are some of the threads we're going to start pulling on and see where they go. I'm concerned that the things that trouble me the most we don't even know about yet. The Democrats called this the tinfoil hat committee. I think they may be eating their words in a year or so, maybe shorter than that, when they find out the things that we've discovered. And I hope the Democrats will put serious Democrats who care about this issue on the committee. I've worked with some of them, Ro Khanna, Zoe Lofgren. We've co-sponsored things to reform FISA, to require warrants.
Progressives are supposed to be good on all of that. I mean, they are supposed to be very anti-establishment when it comes to civil liberties and being spied upon by, you know, a number of agencies. We just know about the ones who are trying to work with Twitter, namely the FBI, CIA, and DHS, not to mention the NSA and the Post Office. There are so many agencies who have trained their resources on American citizens, innocent American citizens. I frankly am surprised that you didn't have more Democrat support.
I am too. This was a party line vote. The vote on China, we got several Democrat votes on that, but on this weaponization of government, you know, and during the debate on the floor with which I engaged in, they said, oh, we shouldn't seek to get these answers from the intelligence community because they'll be reluctant to give us answers later on. And I'm like, wait, if they've already outgrown, you know, their britches, which, you know, we created these organizations, Congress did. We fund them and we're responsible for oversight. If they don't want to be questioned, that's evidence that they need to be questioned.
Absolutely right. I think that is the best summation of abuse of power. When you try and hold on to it for a little too long, that's a sign you're too powerful. Well, Congressman, we do have some breaking news tonight. Moments ago, the Pentagon officially dropping its COVID-19 vaccine mandate for troops. So what took so long? And will this help ease their recruitment woes?
You know, this was the worst policy decision that's affected military readiness in decades, was the COVID vaccine mandate, and I'm so glad we're rid of it. I led the fight on this in the House. I eventually got 90 co-sponsors for my bill, H.R. 3860, but as you might expect, that effort became part of a bigger ball of wax in the omnibus bill. I'm glad it's one of the concessions we got. Our military will be stronger for it. Now, Kennedy, let's go after the other mandates. I introduced a bill this week to end the travel mandate for international travelers who want to come here by plane. They have to have a COVID vaccine to see their family. This is keeping families apart. Let's end that mandate now. Let's end the mandate on medical health care workers who already have natural immunity.
Yeah.
End all the mandates.
And pilots, you know, planes
Yes.
can't take off because they can't get pilots because they're quitting, retiring early because, in part, because of these mandate requirements. All right, vaccine requirements, rather. Congressman Thomas Massie, always good to get sassy with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kendi.
Keep us free.